Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at my Mirror Cup Twilight Cup tournament that I just did this past weekend in Pittsburgh. And shout out to Mel and Dylan and the rest of the organizing crew for organizing the tournament and the hospitality that you guys provided to us. I played pretty decent. I definitely made a lot of mistakes, as you can see as I went through the tournament. This is the first time that I did a tournament with the new charge move mechanics, and it kind of threw me off a little bit, but I certainly learned a lot, and hopefully everyone that's watching this video will learn something that will help them prepare for their tournament. So let's go ahead and get started. So my team is Azumarill, Vitamoth, Quillfish, Umbreon, Toxicroak, and Alolan Muck. And here against Cat's Rules 7-12, I do start with Toxicroak because it's a very favorable Pokemon against majority of her team. Basically, it has like very good matchups, very strong matchup against 3, even against 1, and then can beat Azumarill depending on the situation. So it's still not that bad. Obviously, Golbat, it was the Pokemon I didn't want to see. And I bring in Umbreon to counter the Golbat, and she successfully brings in Alolan Raticate, which is not a good situation for me at all. So at this point in time, she burned the shield, which is good for me, and a very strong situation because these last resorts are not doing a ton of damage, and I do want her to have as much energy as possible. I'm actually not sure why I shielded there. Oh, I think I shielded because I wanted my Umbreon later on for the Golbat, because I realized the rest of my team did not have a very good matchup against Golbat. And I hit Sludge Bomb, hoping to connect, or even Burn a Shield is fine too. So Burning Shield is fine. I'm going to shield in this particular situation, and I'm switch locked at this point in time. And I should have went for that Mud Bomb, but it's fine. And then I'm going to come back in with Umbreon. This Poison Fang won't KO me, but it will put me pretty close. And, oh, she does an excellent switch there. That was a really, really, really good switch. Obviously, I'm in an extremely favorable matchup at this point in time. I really, probably didn't need to shield that. But just in case she had, like, Ominous Wind or something that could potentially do some damage, but I really actually need to save a shield for the potential Shadow Ball. I think she could have Shadow Balled me here. Like, she could have Shadow Balled me if she maybe did like a couple more Poison Fangs, but if she just got to Poison Fang, maybe not. So a little bit risky play for me. In hindsight, I probably wouldn't have shielded, but then she could also just fade down Wing Attack. So it was kind of a tough call. Anyways, I come back with Umbreon. She does like a really good adjustment and switches to Azumarill, and I switch out to Venomoth, hoping that, I did a little late on my switch, so this Azumarill has a little bit more energy, and it's going to be a tough matchup, so I'm hoping that she switches. So she does, which is good for me, and I'm hoping to connect with this Silverwind, which will do a ton of damage against the Skunk Tank with Bite, and it does. Great. And I think she accidentally did the charge move here, which actually saved me. So I'm up a shield. She does have Azumarill in the back, so it's not great for me at all. So the reason I come in with Umbreon is that these bites are not going to do a ton of damage, but it's going to allow me to farm up a ton of energy. And then I'm hoping to, burn a shield, do something, try to take advantage of this matchup. If there's Toxicroak in the back, I am going to be not in a great situation. I decide to shield this potential play rough. I'm going to switch out to Toxicroak, hoping to catch and a shield. I'm hoping to catch a Sludge Bomb. I am like really worried that she's going to switch, and she doesn't, which is good for me. And then I KO the Azumarill, and let's see what she has in the back. And she has a Alolan Raticate. So this is a really positive situation for me. I'm not going to play around. Just going to try to finish off with Mud Bomb. It doesn't really matter if I missed all the bubbles. At that point in time, I knew the match was locked up. at that point in time. So GG, Cats rules. Really got me on the leads, and I really had to maneuver. The next trainer we're going up against is trainer. Man, I'm terrible at pronouncing names. Rimarmako. Anyways, trainer. I'm terrible at pronouncing. I heard Gemma say his name so many times, I just can't remember. So, not necessarily my strong suit. And looking at this lineup, Venomoth has good matchups against like two of the Pokemon, and like even with Golbat, positive, even-ish with Azumarill, and then loses to the other two, especially if it's a Bite Drapion. But still letting that Silver One's going to do a ton of damage. So I'm just waiting at this point in time. Toxicroak versus Azumarill. Not a great matchup for me. So I'm going to switch out to Venomoth. And switch out to Golbat. And, I debated on how to play this out. I was hoping to get a shield. And I do, which is good. I do have to worry about this Golbat. And I just hit the Poison Fang, just do a little bit of damage as I'm getting close to being fainted out. And so that would end up being the correct move for me. And then I'm in like a pretty big predicament. It's going to be very tough for me to win this match. And I'm not going to shield because this Azumarill does have favorable matchups against both my Pokemon. I had no choice but to show my Umbreon because I didn't want my Toxicroak to take a ton of damage. And, just load up a little bit. She switches out to Azumarill. And here I make a mistake. And, I think of this later on. Here I try to pretend I'm doing a Sludge Bomb, which is why my Mud Bomb looks so terrible. And then, obviously, that didn't work. So I should have just went double Sludge Bomb. And then it would have been still a pretty tough matchup for me. So again, I tried to, and then at this point in time, I'm like, oh, screw it, just go for the Mud Bomb. And it maybe worked out okay for me because I have the Mud Bomb. Hopefully I can land it, connect the shield. And then he's able to connect. I tried to switch to catch the Mud Bomb. And then at this point in time, maybe it would have been better for me to double foul play instead of going for the last resort. I have to take a look at that actually. Whether or not two foul plays would have did better than one last resort. It's almost for sure the case, and I should have recognized it at that point in time. He definitely had me outpicked, so he played extremely well. Two foul plays would have did 70 damage. I don't think I would have won still, but it would have put it certainly a lot closer. As well, I could have like double piggybacked or something to make it a little bit closer. So, and reading off the first match, I saw that he shielded, so I was hoping that he was going to shield. And I actually don't know why I shielded. I should have let it go. Comes with Bite Drapion, and I'm gonna come with Azumarill. This Bite Drapion was a really interesting switch. And at this point in time, I'm like, it's either gonna be a Crunch or Aqua Tail. It's way too soon to be. I think it's Sludge Bomb that it has, so I'm gonna Ice Beam it at this point in time. I don't expect him to shield. And then I'm not going to shield this, even this Crunch or Aqua Tail, it doesn't really matter. And it's an Aqua Tail. It does do a little bit of damage to me. But I'm able to farm up at this point in time. And here comes Venusaur. And here I make a kind of a dumb play. It just went away. And then I was trying to click Silverwind, and then it brought me back to Azumarill. And which I actually didn't know I was this close to another Ice Beam. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just hit it with an Ice Beam. And then, good thing I had CMP in that particular situation because I was able to get the Ice Beam off beforehand. If I didn't, then I would have been in huge trouble. And I really debate this. And I decided not to shield, and I'm like, oh, man, I'm in all sorts of trouble. This Golbat is gonna do a Poison Fang, and if I had shielded that Frenzy Plant, then I wouldn't have been afraid of the. I would have had way more health. So, and then I decided to. I don't know why Acid Spray. It doesn't really matter. I don't know why Acid Spray. And I don't know why I didn't try to KO the Golbat a little earlier. It's hard to keep track of all these things with all the switching and everything that's happening in this matchup. So I take match number 2, and now we're going to move on to the third match. And I really don't know why I didn't bring. You'll see it then. I make some dumb mistakes in this round. He played really well, so I have the lead advantage, and then I really should have. He stays in, which I find interesting. And I'm not worried about if it's Dark Pulse, I'm not worried. If it's Acid Spray, I'm okay too. Comes with a Golbat, and I come in with a Azumarill. I probably should have came in with Muck. Coming with a Azumarill was a mistake on my end. And he shields. And I don't shield. And I'm going to have to shield this next one to KO this Golbat. I probably should have loaded up maybe a little bit more. I don't want this Muck to farm me that much. And I debated just switching right away, and I was too slow on that switch. I do KO this, almost KO this Muck, I think. No, I do KO it. And he has a Toxicroak in the back, and I was like, I probably should have maybe farmed down the Muck. And I come back in with the Zoomer, which is a huge mistake, because then it puts him in a really big energy advantage. And it's gonna beat me to Mud Bomb. And the double switching definitely cost me. And then I'm like basically done at this point in time. This is not gonna KO me, but it's gonna put me really close. And I land the Dark Pulse, but it's like a little too late at this point in time. And he GG's me there. So really well played on his side. I really should have came in with Muck versus Golbat, which is why I brought Muck in to counter his Golbat. But I didn't think far enough on this. Oh, actually mixed up the order of these ones. Oh, apologize for that. I actually faced Jake in round. Oh, and 4. So this is an okay matchup for me. But he does have return, which I actually thought was didn't know he had return. Maybe I did actually, which is why I switched. And he has Poison Fang there, so I don't know. Did I know this at time? Did I? Maybe I recorded these videos. Oh, maybe I deleted my first match of this video because, yeah. At this point in time, can't remember if I shield. I don't, because I know I'm not going to be KO'd. I probably could have got to that Hydro Pump, and I probably should have went for it. And if I could do one more bubble after this, I definitely should have. Yeah, I definitely should have went for the Hydro Pump. It did way more damage. I would have put it in range of Poison Fang. That's a mistake on my part. And I come out with Umbreon at this point in time. I'm not sure why. And he switches out to Toxicroak, which is actually very favorable for me. And I think I have to shield. Yeah, I do. And he just did Poison Fang, so he's not going to have a ton of energy left. So I'm able to successfully get off this Poison Fang. And he Ice Beams me. And then I have like a lot of health left. And because Azumarill, like, Play Rough is not a super strong move, it is going to be super effective. It's going to do a lot of damage to me. And then at this point in time, I actually think I deleted the first match in this round. He did take the first match, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm almost certain. So I had to undertap there. He actually had an Ice Beam ready. And then I think this is the third. This is the third match. I'm fairly certain. Or maybe this is the second match. Let's see what plays out in this particular situation. So he hits the first return. If I hit the man, sorry, I should have watched all these videos before I started commenting on them. If I hit the Aqua Tail before him, okay, so this is the second match. So I hit the Aqua Tail before him, and then he returns, and then I'm gonna come in with Azumarill because I hopefully can KO this Golbat before I can get to Poison Fang, which was the case. And then he comes out with Azumarill, so this should be a good matchup for me, especially since I have the energy advantage and the shield advantage. He decides to shield. No, not shield, sorry. Silverwind, which is actually interesting play. I'm not sure if he doesn't have Poison Fang. The double anti-toxic counter is interesting. And at this point in time, I make a huge mistake. I'm like, why didn't I shield? Why did I not shield? I have 2 shields left. And I just look like so stupid there. Because I definitely could have, if I would have shielded, I definitely could have landed like 2 or 3 Poison Fangs. Yeah, and because I didn't shield, it's going to be very costly for me. Even if and debatably, I should have went for 2 Ice Beams. Yeah, I really should have went for 2 Ice Beams because 2 Ice Beams would have done 54 damage, or 58 damage versus 1 Hydro Pump only does 50 damage. So, yeah, I definitely would have won if I would have just double Ice Beam. I should recognize these things ahead of time, but it's just so rusty at this point. I also think that unless he's carrying Play Rough Hydro Pump, which I don't think he is, he could have just Ice Beamed me there as well. So we move on to our third match. So we start off with the same leads. It's interesting because I had CMP. We actually replayed this because I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to have CMP. Maybe there's like an issue. Because he gave me the first one. So I was like, what the heck is happening? And then the second one, same thing happens. We clearly have CMP at this point in time. So I decide to just play it out. It's whatever. It actually worked out probably out in my favor. Because he is up a shield, but I have switch move priority. And he comes out with the Toxicroak. And then at this point in time, I don't shield. Hoping it's just a Mud Bomb. It is just a Mud Bomb. And let's see what's in the back. It's a Azumarill. And you'll see how much better Venomoth is with like slightly more health. Because I'm going to be able to land the 2... And then if he doesn't shield, debatably he could have tried to farm me down. He did try to beat me to the charge move, but I had charge move priority at that point in time. And then I debate between like maybe he doesn't shield the Hydro Pump, but then I realized that I could just Ice Beam him, and if he doesn't, well, I do try to bait, and if he doesn't shield, this is like, it's so hard to debate because like my hand motions are so extraordinary, right? Like so obvious. I could have also just attempted to bubble him down at that point in time. And all I have to do is shield. He baits me. But really at this health, even if he lands a play rough against me, I would still survive. I could just bubble down basically 2 more bubbles, maybe 3 more bubbles at this point in time, and still win. But the Ice Beam was definitely the safe move. So really, really good match. Next up, we're against Jake Does Hurdles. The Tentacruel does worry me in terms of my lineup. It does beat majority of my Pokemon, and really I have to line up my my Venomoth versus his Tentacruel in like evenish energy advantage, and perhaps with like 1 shield, and not end up in a situation where the Tentacruel is against anyone in my team. In a no shield scenario would be really bad for me. So I decided not to shield, hoping that I can get to a last resort, and I do. And he's just gonna farm me down. And I do have to go with a Azumarill. And I farm up a little bit, and I do pull up the switch because I do think it's going to be Tentacruel, just because like people love Tentacruel. This such a great job. And at this point in time, he's not switching, so I was like, is something up? And I'm really curious what's in the back, so I decided to shield, even if this is Acid Spray and it'll be Sludge Wave. And I'm so curious on what's in the back, and it's a Toxicroak, so I know it's GG at this point in time, which is why he wanted to protect the Tentacruel so much. It's like hard to know the composition. Hard to know that I have a Venomoth ready for him. And I decided to come in with the same team against Jake. And we end up in the same situation again. I don't know if he tries to preserve his Alone Raticate, knowing that likely it's the same team. Can't remember. He does switch out to decide not to shield, even if it's a Sludge Bomb, which it is. It's going to do a lot of damage. And he ends up bringing Frostlass. And these Poison Fang, Frostlass is a very strong matchup against Venomoth. It is very squishy. These Confusions still take out huge chunks out of Frostlass. And I'm going to hit another Poison Fang, just to do a little bit of chip damage. And he ends up shielding, which was probably a mistake. Didn't really need to shield, but it would have put his Frostlass really low health. And I tried to go for the foul play, but he has CMP at this point in time, so there wasn't really much I could do. And just going to let it avalanche me. And then let's see what's in the back. I do shield. And if it's a Tentacruel in the back, then I'm in huge trouble. There's probably no way I can beat it. Ends up being... Oh, no, he already showed a low Raticate. It was at the beginning. So I knew it was GG's at this point in time. I come with a Hydro Pump to finish it off. So GG there. Really well played. Now I'm against Professor Vitali. Vitali, I'm guessing. And I'm looking at his lineup. I am worried about the Clefable, but I can't be overly worried about it. I do lead with Venomoth, hoping to catch something, and we end up being in a Venomoth mirror match. And in the way I like to play Venomoth is I don't like doing the charge move. That way I have energy loaded for the next Pokemon. And then I have 1 HP left. So my Venomoth IVs are terrible. As you can see, his are very good. And I come in with Silverwind because I'm like, no way he comes in with Azumarill. He doesn't shield. And I'm like, I could have landed two Poison Fangs, which would have did like more than half health at that point in time. So yeah, at this range, I'm not in a very good situation. And I Ice Beam this Toxicroak. And I actually didn't want to show Hydro Pump because I'm in kind of a losing situation at this point in time. There's no point in me showing Hydro Pump, that I have Hydro Pump to him. So at this point in time, I'm like, is he baiting me? Is he not? And he is not, which was a very critical error for me. But it's very unlikely that I would have beat, even if I land that Ice Beam, that I could beat the Azumarill and his Azumarill with like energy loaded already. So put the shield with a full health Umbreon, maybe with the shield. It's a tough call. He is, and actually no, I probably could have beat his. Yeah, I should have shielded there. He would have landed like maybe another Mud Bomb before, and then potentially could have farmed out my Azumarill. So it was a mistake not shielding. I thought it was a bluff, but when he landed that shield, it definitely flipped the match to him. So just like being rusty and overthinking some of these lineups and situations. But it was likely that even if he faked out the shield baited me, that I could still got to the Ice Beam. He could have Mud Bombed me, which is fine. I would have survived still, and then I would have a decent amount of health, and would have been able to take the match. So he leads with Skuntank, and then I don't know why I shielded at this point in time. Maybe because I was thinking he had Sludge Bomb, but he ends up having Crunch. And then this is the reason why I didn't want to show Hydro Pump in the first match for this particular situation, because he clearly outpicked me, but I was able to take out his and he comes out interesting move, because I'm going to go Ice Beam. And at this point in time, I'm not too worried about the situation, because I do have Venomoth, which is going to basically delete this. And I don't know why I was so slow in that switch. I do have to worry about Silverwind, and he goes for it, which is good for me. And then I decide to go Acid Spray to try to bait the shield. Not really bait the shield, he's going to shield and it's going to allow me to do more damage against it. And he's going to put a Silverwind, which is not going to KO me, so I can definitely KO this just with and I decided to Dark Pulse instead of Acid Spray because this match is already over. So GG there. That Clefable again. I talked to him afterwards. It was like just a ton of bench pressure. And I lead with Venomoth against his team. And we end up in the Venomoth mirror match again. So I think he learned from the first match. I can't remember. I think he actually Poison Fangs me at this point in time. Oh, he's several wins. Maybe for the chances for boost. And then I'm going to double Poison Fang. Because he likes coming out with a Zoom Roll. So basically I'm self-piggybacking at this point in time. And I take... I don't know if I even draw a shield. I don't. But I take out more than half his health of his Zoom Roll. And now he knows my Zoom Roll has... I do shield. It does have Hydro Pump, so he's not as scared about it. So I am doing a terrible job at this. And I tried to fake out the Sludge Bomb. And then I should just really be swiping across bomb, but it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to switch out to a Zoom Roll to tank. I was hoping to tank the Ice Beam, but a little too early of a switch. Goes for Play Rough. Still going to farm down this Zoom Roll. And then at this point in time, I'm just going to Hydro Pump this Toxicroak, which is definitely going to KO. And we're going to just bubble down this Zoom Roll. So we take round number 5, match number 3. Not having Hydro Pump and not having Hydro Pump was both like pretty good for me and like not so great for me. Definitely put me in a tricky situation in the mirror. So then L Jazz 7 has really interesting team with Gardevoir. It could have Charm or it could have Confusion. If it has Confusion, my Umbreon's really good. If it has Charm, then my my Venomoth and Quillfish are really good. So at this point in time, I need to identify what moveset it has. So I go with a Alolan Muck as my switch in, and I saw that it had Confusion, which is a good thing I was paying attention. And then I realized, like, okay, Alolan Muck is going to be good. And he switches into a Zoom Roll, which I think was a mistake. And I can't remember if I shield or not. I do shield. And I'm going to Acid Spray again. See if he shields. He does. I really debatable if I should shield again, but I am going to survive this. If it was a Play Rough, which we could have got if he waited a little bit sooner, and then he comes with Bite Drapion. Bite Drapion's fine for me. He switches out, and then since it's Confusion, this is actually a better matchup for me than if it was Charm. There's nothing that Gardevoir can necessarily hurt me with, but I'm not going to take the risk with this Synchronize because I know I have a positive matchup against the Drapion as well with a Zoom Roll. And then Energy in the back with over farm there. The Synchronize is not going to be able to KO me, but I did take unnecessary damage. I could have undertapped to avoid that synchro noise damage, and I could have potentially Ice Beamed. And I was like, is this going to take me out? I don't think so. I resist Crunch, but it is super close. And even if this doesn't KO, I'm like one counter away. But it was a super close match. If my Toxicroak's IVs were even worse, which it doesn't have necessarily great IVs, then it would have been a really tough matchup for me. So now that I know it has Confusion, should be at this point in time, I think I decided just to flip Muck Well, I debate. I come in with Umbreon. I really like against Gardevoir now that it has Confusion and Synchronize and probably Shadow Ball. I basically just wall it completely. It is gonna only do Foul Play and I think I have Snarl is only gonna do neutral damage to it. But I think I decided to come the same team. I just change the flow, as Battle Hero likes to say. And so very positive matchup for me. As you can see, it decides to stay a little bit. Comes with Bite Drapion. And, debatable I should come in with... well, I decided to come in Toxicroak because I don't want that Gardevoir to farm me too much. So I decided to take it out. And I actually probably should have farmed a little bit more so I can land the Mud Bomb on it. But this is totally fine still. And I decided to not wait at the switch clock to lock in this Gardevoir a little bit longer because guaranteed he's like rushing, panicking to try to click on the switch window. I expect to switch after this. Oh, no switch. What did he have in the back? Oh, because he has Zoom Roll. Still pretty bad, like no matter what the situation. And he decided not to shield. And I think I decided to shield because I'm going to be able to land one more Acid Spray, which is going to just do a ton of damage to this Zoom Roll. Definitely has to shield at this point in time. And I switch over to... Well, actually, I don't switch over. It doesn't really matter. I could just bubble it down at this point in time. Double Acid Spray basically turns into a tank to like a little paper boat at this point in time. So, all right, GG there. After I discovered the moveset on Gardevoir, it was easy enough lineup to take care of. So this last lineup, is this my first Tyranitar I countered? Yeah, it is. So I decided to lead with Quillfish, and maybe I over-accounted for the Tyranitar too much. I'm going to take a look at the team one more time. And I'm going to come in Venomoth, hoping that it's not Tyranitar in the front. But I'm really hoping to catch the Toxicroak because there's so many anti-toxic, and I end up catching the Muck, which is not good for me. And I just want to land the Silver Wind and then bail out. And this is where I really shouldn't have shielded, even if it was a Dark Pulse. And I end up not shielding here, which is like very costly for me. I really should have shielded. He's going to land the acids, and I under tap. I should have under tapped there. And I expect this to be an Acid Spray. And I didn't have CMP, and I'm like, I actually debated like trying to do no damage. Maybe that would have been better for me. I switch out, and at this point in time, it's like I probably, if I just Ice Beam, then he knows I have Hydro Pump, so I'm like, I decided just to Hydro Pump against it. But this is kind of a lost matchup for me. I got the boost. I should have I should have switched as well, perhaps, or just poor team composition on my part too. And I miss a few bubbles on the way there. And I want to build up to almost Ice Beam. And maybe I shouldn't have. this Azumarill has too much health left, so it's not really, I don't really have much of a chance because he's going to farm me down. But even there, I wasn't at enough. So trying to like bail out of a tricky situation was not good for me. I don't know why I didn't bring a Alolan Muck instead of Venomoth. Because Alolan Muck, this is just me reading the team composition better. Like Alolan Muck would have had like pretty good matchups against like 3 of his Pokemon, even with the fellow Muck. So I have the lead advantage here, and then I'm a little too slow on the switch, and then because I'm too slow on the switch, it's like a little too costly, and I should have, at least at this point in time, I recognize that I'm slow on the switch, so I should have just double piggybacked. And I really should have committed 2 shields. Because I really need to win switch advantage at this point in time. And I make another mistake. I should have come in with... This team composition is so tough for me to deal with. I decide to... I really should have fainted down all the way. That way I would have had like 2 charge moves ready. Or basically 2 charge moves ready. And then I could have double Ice Beamed this Muck, for example. Or Ice Beamed it once. And then I want to take out this Muck. And I don't know if I miss any bubbles. I said not to shield. The acid sprays me, which is fine, because then let's go back and farm less. And I hit the Mud Bomb, which is not going to do anything to it. And I really, so not fainting down the Azumarill with bubbles was definitely a mistake on my part. I would have put my Azumarill at much lower health than it was, but I potentially could have Ice Beamed it once, burnt the shield, then Mud Bombed it, and then I would have been really close to another Ice Beam, and I would have had arguably a little bit more health, and then I ended up losing. So, but GG, really well played on his side. So really tough tournament. Like, there was no easy matches in this entire tournament, so which I really enjoyed. And regionals was really fun, so hopefully I can get that video out if everyone's interested. If you are interested, let me know down in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and comment below on when your tournament is and what tournament you would like me to do next. And I'll see everyone in the next video.